Hi, I'm disability lawyer David Brannon. I'm going to talk to you in this video about another type of evidence that is often not used, often overlooked, but that is great evidence of your disability. And that is employment records. So after watching this video, you'll understand why I am such a big supporter of getting employment records as evidence of your disability, and you'll understand how to go about doing that and how to use them in your case. Now, if you like this video, please hit that like button. It really helps us out and we really appreciate it. Also, we'd love to get your comments. Don't be shy. Put some comments down below. If you agree with things, you disagree, we'll take it all. So when you're doing a CPP disability case, you have to prove that you have a disability. That may go without saying, but you prove disability by providing documents and things to support your case. A lot of people will limit themselves just to giving the application form and the report from the doctor, and that's pretty much it. I call that the bare minimum application. People use that approach and then they over-rely on their own self to tell the story, to give the evidence. That is a surefire way to lose a winnable case. So I want to give you a little tip here. One of the things that we have found that can really be effective in many cases is getting your employment records and getting a copy of your employment records, a paper or digital copy, and giving that to either Service Canada or the Social Security Tribunal. So when I'm talking about employment records, it would be the file that your employer has about you, when you were hired. Any notes in there about your sick days. So your sick days, vacation days, description of your job, any accommodations that you've had that's documented in there, any discussion about your disability and things that they've had to do. Employment files are fantastic. In some cases, they're the difference between winning and losing. Especially if you had a longer job where you had a lot of changes in accommodations and sick days and things like that. Getting the employment rep file can just be huge to pushing your case over the top to be approved for disability. A lot of these cases are really in the gray area. Like, that's why a lot of cases get denied. They're in the gray area, it's not completely clear, and things like getting these extra things like the employment file can just solidify everything. Now, I've talked in other videos about always focusing on the decision maker and what do they expect and what is important to them. All decision makers you're going to be dealing with are going to place a lot of value and weight on documents that were created in the ordinary course of business. These are documents that are recognized at law to be inherently reliable. In fact, it's one of the exceptions to the hearsay rule. If you ever hear hearsay, one of the exceptions of that is if a document was created in the ordinary course of business because they're seen as inherently reliable. Your employment file would be something that would qualify as something created in the ordinary course of business because it had nothing to do with this case. People were making these records not knowing anything about this case, and so it is seen as reliable. There's no incentives there to twist things or to say things, and those records can be really good for your case. So how you go about getting them? You can, if you no longer work, which you probably don't if you're applying for disability, you can make a Freedom of Information request for your employment file. We'll include a link to some information about Freedom of Information requests down below, but just know that you have a right under the Freedom of Information Act to request your file. Most employers will just give it to you, and you can ask for things like, you want to see things like the amount of your sick days, the length of time you were employed. You want to see all the records about job performance evaluations, anything in there about disability and accommodations. If it's me, I put the whole file out to the judge. You don't want to like take out anything that's bad in there. You should just give it all. Give the full picture. The thing, like what people would think is, I'll get this employment file and I'll sneak out and take out these bad things and just give them the rest. You can do that, and sometimes it might be helpful, but I'm going to be honest with you, like sometimes bad things are helpful because they make you look more believable. So just like there could be bad things in your health records that you should not cherry pick out, you should definitely not ever do that, first of all. Don't do it with your employment records. Give them the whole thing, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's more real. You'll be more believable. So there you have it. You now know why I am such a big believer in these employment files and getting them into your case as part of the evidence. They tell the story. They're seen as inherently reliable by the decision maker because these records were created before by someone else that had nothing to do with this case. They're going to be much more reliable to get the evidence that way than for you just to tell them about it or for you to write it out for them. They won't believe that, and you can lose a case if you're going to rely on you telling it yourself versus getting the records and it's all there on paper. So if you like this video, hit the like button, leave us some comments. We'd love to get comments and we'll always reply. And don't forget to hit the bell notification and the subscribe button so you'll get notice of our videos a couple times a week. Keep watching and we'll see you back next time.